So it has been a while since we spoke about the pink sauce situation, and I'm assuming you will not be surprised to hear it hasn't really went too well. Now, if for some reason you have no idea what the pink sauce situation is, let me just give you a very quick recap. So this is Chef Pii, a TikToker with 244,000 followers who went viral because she created some sauce that was pink. So I guess because people hadn't seen a pink sauce before, everyone was very curious as to what it tasted like, and Chef Pii wouldn't really tell anyone. She would just eat like food with the sauce on it, wouldn't tell anyone what it tastes like, just said it tasted good. And due to straight up curiosity, this sauce went viral and people really wanted to know what it tasted like, so Chef Pii decided to start selling it. And this is where everything kind of went to shit, because Chef Pii was selling this pink sauce, it sold out instantly, people were really curious to see what it tasted like, but when they received the product, it wasn't really what they expected. I mean, if you're one of the lucky people who got their product in one piece, a lot of people were just basically saying it tasted like ranch and it just so happened to be a pinky colour. Not quite as pink as what Chef Pii's shown. In fact, in some videos, it looked yellow. And for what seemed like the majority of people who received the product, you didn't even get a sauce that was edible. A lot of people were saying that it tasted like rotten or looked rotten. Some people were saying their product actually exploded in the packaging. And this was basically because Chef Pii didn't do her due diligence. She didn't work out the best way to package this product. It didn't meet the FDA standards or anything like that. In fact, she didn't even know what FDA stood for. There's obviously that very famous clip of her saying that it doesn't have to be FDA approved because it's not a medical product.
What do you mean FDA approved? I don't sell medical products. The pink sauce is not a medical product. The pink sauce don't contribute to your health.
And then the situation got a lot worse for Chef Pii because she ended up going on a talk show ran by someone called Karamo or something like that. I've always pronounced that wrong and I still don't really know how to pronounce it, so I'm very sorry. But she went on this talk show. It seemed like they had a bit of an agenda to try and make people feel sorry for Chef Pii, even though it was kind of her fault. She didn't do her research and she could have put people's health at risk. There's a bunch of articles coming out saying that this product could actually give you botulism, which is like the most severe form of food poisoning. But like I said, it seemed like there was a bit of a weird agenda on this talk show where they were trying to make people feel sorry for Chef Pii. They even brought on another TikToker who had previously reviewed her product, said pretty negative things, wasn't overly mean, just said she didn't like the product. And they basically targeted this poor woman and tried making her seem like this horrible individual who'd been like bullying Chef Pii, which wasn't the case.
I think it's a moment of learning on both parts.
I think the learning is more on your part.
And that eventually actually resulted in the host of the show having to apologise. Chef Pii also apologised because there was a bunch of backlash. And then after that, yes, this situation is very long-winded. And in fact, I've missed out a lot of information. I've made like a bunch of videos going into a lot of detail. It's impossible for me to recap it all right now. But after the talk show, Chef Pii ended up working with a company who also sells sauce to help launch it in a safe and legal way. It ended up in Walmart, and that was kind of the end of the situation as we knew it. But just within the last few days, we have a new update with this whole situation, and it's a very negative one, especially towards Chef Pii. Pink sauce creator claims she's broke due to faulty deal. I don't even have enough money to buy my kids food. And you know, the first time I heard about this, which was actually on an Atozi video very recently, I can't say I was very surprised. In fact, in my video 8 months ago talking about this new deal that Chef Pii had with like this sauce company, I actually said this. And then we also have a little you may also like section with a bunch more sauces you can buy by Dave's Gourmet, who is now partnered with Chef Pii to make this sauce. Okay, right, before we actually get into the bit I wanted to show you here, can we just take a moment to realise how fucking chubby I was? Bloody hell. Maybe you might not be able to tell a difference, but I was like 16 kilograms heavier at this point. I was a big boy. But yeah, Chunky Callum, please carry on and give us the information. Which is a good thing because it's someone who actually knows what they're doing, helping out, making the sauce and releasing it properly. But this guy is definitely just kind of like bought into the name and seen it as a big money move for him. And I mean, I don't believe Chef Pii would probably make all that much money from this, but maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, so it turns out I wasn't wrong. Now, the reason why I said that in this video is because you've heard so many horror stories from people who work with this massive company to help with their product or help with their job in general. In fact, most of the stories I've heard, because of like the type of job I do, is from YouTubers who work with these like agencies and these MCNs and stuff that promise you the world and then they don't give you the world. In fact, they end up stealing a lot of money from you. In fact, we literally just spoke about this a few days ago with the whole like Bobby Althoff situation, who's now partnered with WME, and how these companies companies can steal money from creators, and hopefully that hasn't happened to her. But because I've heard so much about these situations and complete horror stories, I really did think at the time, with Chef Pii working for Dave's Gourmet or working with Dave's Gourmet, there's a good chance she could get fucked over in this deal. I mean, it's not a secret that she really doesn't know what she's doing with this type of stuff. And realistically, there's a good chance that she just heard this company wanted to help her. It's a company that have sold many different types of sauce in the past, and that's all she really needed to hear. She heard that a company that knew what they were doing wanted to help, and she accepted it. And now it seems like the situation has got so bad that Chef Pii has decided to make a GoFundMe, which you can see on screen right now. It says, "Help get justice for the pink sauce." It was created 5 days ago, and this is what Veronica Shaw, or Chef Pii, had to say. "Hi, my name is Veronica Shaw. I am the founder of the Pink Sauce LLC, one of the most viral sauce sensations of 2022. I mean, that is pretty true, isn't it? As a young entrepreneur with big dreams, I followed my intuition and went forth toward my dreams to create something new. I made a few mistakes on the way, I mean, that's kind of an understatement, which led me to trust a company that is trying to take everything away from me. They lied to me." Yeah, like I said, this isn't much of a surprise to me. That's why I kind of said it 8 months ago. It did feel like this was always going to happen. I mean, this sauce went completely viral. It was getting a bunch of media coverage. This company, Dave's Gourmet, seems like, allegedly, just saw the fact that this sauce was going viral and saw it as a big money move, which is what I said in that video, and they just decided to sell it. Set Chef Pii up with probably a really dodgy contract that she didn't really check over very well, and now we're in this situation. They are not paying me and are not being transparent about records. I have tried on multiple occasions to try and come to one accord with them, but they refuse to reimburse me for marketing expenses that I spent my own funds towards. I have been silenced and financially sabotaged. I'm a single mum and I do effing for my kids. Right now, I don't have enough money to buy my kids food on my own. My mum is on disability and has been giving us $20 just to get by on a daily basis. School is a few days away. I haven't been able to get my kids clothes or anything. I am currently facing an eviction that has gone into default. The sheriffs can come to my door any day now. I need legal help. They are refusing to pay me the royalty that is owed to me. I don't know what else to do. I can't give up. I need help. Now look, even though I've said, and I do believe this isn't much of a surprise, it does feel like this situation was always probably going to end up similar to this. This is obviously really sad to see, because not just Chef Pii affected by this, it's also her kids, as she just said. And I mean, when we look at the fundraiser right here, she set a target for $100,000 and she's only received $700, which is obviously nowhere near that number. And yeah, as much as you can say, and by the way, this is the most common thing I've seen people say, Chef Pii has done this to herself, which is true to a pretty big extent, right? She didn't do any research when it came to actually selling this product in the first place, and it seems like she hasn't done much research with the company that she's now working for. I still do feel sorry for the family, at least, right? Chef Pii's put herself in a situation, but the kids haven't, and yeah, I can't help but feel bad about that. And the mental thing about this is, if Chef Pii actually decided to put the work in and the research at the beginning to sell this product correctly, she could be loaded. I mean, this sauce was going viral, millions and millions of views just on this fucking sauce that just so happened to be pink. And we saw how quick the product sold out at the beginning. Imagine if them products were packaged correctly and were made correctly and people actually loved the product. Imagine how much money Chef Pii could have right now. And even if that first release did go the way it did, she had many chances to correct this and actually do it properly, and instead she decided to combat against people who were disagreeing with the way she sold her products. She went on a talk show to belittle someone who had a negative review. All this stuff, it made her come across as very unlikable. Obviously, people no longer wanted to support Chef Pii as much as they did at the beginning, and I think it's pretty clear how different this situation could have been if Chef Pii's actions and reactions to people were very different. If they were a lot more positive and she did try to take in people's criticism and actually try to create a better product and a safe product, it could have went completely different, and unfortunately we've now ended up in this situation. Also, if we look at the article I mentioned earlier, most of it is just quoting the GoFundMe, but it also has some other bits of information that we didn't know originally. Like it says here, Shaw has also claimed the company is removing her Instagram posts where she is outing them, which is interesting because when I heard about this whole situation with the whole GoFundMe, everyone was saying there was an Instagram post talking about it with some more information, and when I went to look, it was no longer there, and it seems like Shaw is saying that the company are removing the Instagram posts. And the article also carries on to say that Blavity reached out to Shaw for a statement. At the time of publishing, she has not responded. Dave's Gourmet has also not provided a comment on her claims. So yeah, it seems like this is obviously going to end up in a big legal battle. Obviously, not a lawyer, so I don't really know how this is going to end, and we don't know the ins and outs. There's a good chance that Dave's Gourmet did put all of this in the contract, knowing fine well that they probably were going to be fucking her over and it wasn't a good deal for her, but it really wouldn't surprise me if Chef Pii didn't look too much into the contract and is now getting fucked over buy stuff that she signed. But maybe that's not the case. Maybe Dave's Gourmet are going against the contract and Chef Pii does actually have a claim here. Maybe she'll win the lawsuit. We obviously don't know without seeing what the contract was in the first place. But yeah, I think it's fair to say that this whole pink sauce business idea hasn't worked out very well. It probably is time to give it up and move on to something else, which sounds bad. You don't want to tell people to give up on their dreams and their business goals and all this stuff. But how do you come back from this? The reputation that this sauce has is incredibly bad. She's now in this big, like, legal battle about money, like, due to this sauce. Like, is it worth the stress? Probably not. I believe the sauce is still in, like, Walmart and stuff. I think you can still buy it. I haven't really heard anything about it for the past, like, 8 months, so it doesn't seem like it's doing crazily well, but maybe it is. Maybe people are buying it in Walmart. Any Walmart employees watching this video, ever seen someone buy the pink sauce? Please let me know. I do remember seeing a lot of TikToks when it was first introduced to Walmart of people saying that the shelves were full and they weren't being bought, but obviously they're just TikToks. I mean, I don't know if that's completely true. But yeah, a very negative end to this whole pink sauce situation, which we've been speaking about for, like, probably nearly a year at this point. And yeah, it didn't seem like it was ever going to end well, but it's probably ended up worse than we could ever imagine. But hey, at least no one got botulism. Hey, there's a positive, I guess. But yeah, I would love to know your thoughts in the comment section down below about this whole situation. Do you think it's a surprise? Do you think there's any coming back with the sauce? Do you think it can make this big return? Let me know your thoughts down below, and I'm going to leave the video there. But yeah, if you did enjoy, please leave a like down below, subscribe if you are new, and until the next one, I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright, goodbye.